Most of the time that I've been playing over the last week, I've been trying the new dragons. Obviously, dragons got a lot of love in the new patch, and I've been working on some sort of Kelly deck, and I'm still trying to get it right. I try to put as many dragons as possible for the best lineage payoff, but they are very expensive, and I feel like that takes away some of the things from the deck. So I will be putting out a Kelly deck at some point, but I'm still trying to get it right. I want it to be good before I share it because that's what I try and do. I try to make it the best that I can. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me to play Precision Strike, and the list doesn't change for me at least a lot between patches, but this has been a work in progress for I would say the last year, and it works really well. I was kind of hard stuck at rank 2 with Kelly, and then I just won a whole bunch of games in a row with this last night, and now I just played 4 now, and we're almost filling up the mosaic again, so it's looking pretty good. The deck still looks like it does really well. I didn't put out a PS deck last season, if I'm not mistaken, so this would be my most recent version of the deck. Now, something you guys might see, I actually cut the muzzle. So I had lock and seize with 6 less power. I love Muzzle, okay? I'm a Muzzle advocate. I'm always going to play Muzzle when I want to play Muzzle, but I felt like it was often a card I was either missing or I was waiting for an opportunity that never came because I didn't have Pelor anyways to purify something. We obviously want an engine if possible. So what I did was I changed that out for Ifrit, and Ifrit gives us a bit more reach for engine removal, right? If they put something down at 6 or 7, all of a sudden now it's within reach, right? 5 plus 1 leader ping, 2 leader pings, whatever the case is, and it really helps get rid of some threats. And it's funny because whenever we play this card, opponents are hovering over it like, what is that? I think it's really slept on, and I've been trying to put Ifrit in a few decks here and there over the last few patches, and now feels like a pretty good time to have that there. So we have Ifrit. Now, the point of the deck is centered around really heavy control. If you guys like removing all the threats in your opponent's side of the playing field, this is what you're going to want to play. Now, in a round 1, ideally, we put out Venedane. With this card here, move up the 2 cards from your hand to the bottom of your deck. Add Waylay to your hand for each card moved that way. Whenever you play a Waylay, spawn an Elven Deadeye on this row. The Elven Deadeyes are these guys here, and the Waylays, right? So we got both of those, just so you know. For reference, we have a couple organic Waylays in the deck. So what we do is you actually kind of want to hold the Waylays if you pull into them, right? You can hold on to the Waylays, or you can hold on to your Sentinels in round 1 if you have access to Venedane. Because then you create the 2 in hand and you put back these bricks to the bottom of our deck. So that really makes a difference, okay? And then from there, you're able to play the Waylays. You get the extra Deadeye, which is nice for each Waylay that you play. And you can use your discretion as to whether or not you want to use Alyssa early to put those Waylays back in the deck once you've played 2. Or you just want to do it later on so you don't risk bricking and pulling into them. Now, there are some instances where I don't feel it's really appropriate to cycle back the Waylays with Alyssa. Let's say, for example, we play Venedane and we don't really have a good chance to use the Waylays. The opponent passes, we still have 2 in hand. What I would normally do in that case is I would try to shuffle them back. So we have 4 in deck. We could just play all 4 of those off the Simlast because we're playing all copies of a Bronze Special from our deck. And then I would try to focus on maybe taking Alyssa with Curse of Corruption or Alyssa with Heatwave, right? A lot of decks have multiple big threats, right? Maybe an artifact, you want to get rid of a couple artifacts, or defender an artifact, you know how it is. And you want to do it that way. So, there's other plays that we could do with Alyssa, and she always is going to play for her provision and some. So there's pretty much that idea. Hengate Sword is something that you want to play early if possible. I have Cursed Scroll, which is really good here. So if we're going first, we could draw a card of choice, then move a card from our hand to the bottom of our deck. So again, fixes a brick if the Venedane isn't there. Or if we have so many bricks in hand, we could pull into the Venedane and then fix more bricks that way, right? So that kind of helps me with consistency. A lot of you guys ask me on stream, how come you don't have Lady of the Lake? It's because Curse Scroll helps, Venedane helps, and Maxi helps. I feel like it is enough. I'm trying to put as much as I can in this deck as possible if we want to compete with other meta decks. You think about Harmony right now. Harmony has so many damn points, right? So we need to be able to just put in as much as we can. And this feels good. If you see the games today, I don't usually have problems with the draws. Maybe I'm just lucky, but you guys know I'm not usually that lucky when I play. So It just goes to show the deck must be working the way it's supposed to. Now, Maxi's really cool. Look at your deck. In order from top to bottom, you may shuffle your deck, then move a card to the bottom of it. So we could play this before Vanadane. So we could put something at the bottom, put something else at the bottom. Or we can just do this as usual, and if on round 2, for whatever reason, we have a handful of garbage still, we can go play this on a pass, whatever the case, and then we can make sure we're pulling into the win conditions in round 3. So a lot of that's cool. Roach Knickers are just too expensive to include now. Well, Knickers didn't change, but Roach, man, going up to 10 in a deck like this, I'm not even going to find there. See, that's a big nerf. It's something I would have thought about, but I don't think we need it anyways, right? We have one offering. I used to have 2 offerings. I used to have Allgod at some point. You could put Allgod instead of Ifrit if you really want to, but I prefer the control. Okay, Allgod would be sitting at the same, and in that event, you'd probably want to take out one of the backup plans and put a second offering. Really, this is proactive, but we have good proactive plays. We have one. Whoops. We've got this proactive play, this one. We've got these ones. You know, if we have to, we could throw these down. Like, we're not really stressing for proactivity. A lot of the carryover doesn't really happen. We use our leader often early on for reach if we want to win on even. So, again, the carryover, what I was finding was it wasn't carrying over till round 3. This is the type of leader that you don't really want to hold on to till round 3. You know what I mean? Because it would be perfect case scenario if you had it, but it's just it's a liability, if anything, at that point. So lots of really good options here. I like Zoltan because Zoltan chips things down, leader removes them, or Zoltan chips things down, the skirmishers remove them. There's a lot of flexibility there. You get the 1 point per turn engine if he has a hat on, right? And then you get that going off, berserkers going off. It's pretty wild. Some people put, instead of a dwarf package, they put maybe an elf package, but I like the really defensive route as well. I like the chariot stacking with armor, plays well against frost. You play this on melee, it's got 3 armor. You play this against bounty, everything makes it that much more difficult to remove for the opponent, right? Imagine them putting a bounty on something, and let's say they have 6 coin, and they want to remove like a 4 power unit, but the unit's got like 3 armor. Well, all of a sudden now they can't even complete the kill. So there's a lot of variables to think about when putting something like this together, and I felt like, you know, the armor plays a big role in making sure that other decks don't get value from their removal. So it's all good. Now, I got a bunch of games for you guys here with live commentary for reference, so enjoy. And if you enjoy the content overall, just please subscribe to the channel. We're pushing 15k subs, and I believe we could do it soon. If you have any recommendations for videos that you want me to put out, deck guides, let me know what decks you want to see next, and I'll try to get around to them. But from now, I'll probably be working on the Kelly a little bit in my own time, but the next stream at least, or the next video that I do, is going to be something fresh and new. So look out for that, and let's get into the gameplay, guys. Nothing else to say. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Alright, for the first game here, we have Bounty Syndicate. So Blood Money did get a provision nerf. It's going down to 15, so a little bit more balanced. The deck is still very good. Obviously, with Vivaldi Bank, that's another indirect, or you want to say direct, either way, nerf to the archetype. But again, nothing to scoff at. We're basically happy to go first. We like to keep the waylays in hand when we have the Vanadane access, so I keep the one waylay on the left in the hand, and it gives me a proactive play to do, right? We can make sure we get Vanadane out early, so when they play engines, we can answer them, and then put back one of the waylays, put back something that we don't think we'll need. We have 2 skirms in hand. We have Berserker, you know, Berserker's fine. I don't really like Berserker that much when I don't have the Chariot, but it's okay to play on its own. I find Skirmishers are just a little bit better. So Vigilantes get out of hand if you leave them unchecked. I believe that if they play one of these, I like to run one here and there. I think they're actually pretty good. I don't double up. It's a little slow, you know? But we take a waylay there, obviously, leader ping, finish it off. We got to be sort of sparing on the leader pings, but if it means winning around 1 on even, for example, I don't mind using the full leader here. That's kind of annoying. A lot of decks that have a mill possibility, they end up going for that, which just makes it all the better just using the leader early, because we're not really getting that carryover, you know, whether it's Scoundrel here or Vilgefortz or whatever the case, right? A lot of decks are just doing that sort of mill stuff. So they give it a bounty, and then they get the clean kill, I'm sure, right? Yeah. The objective is to get rid of that Scoundrel. It would have been nice if I had Curse of Corruption in hand or access to it, but it's not always the case, so go for that. And what it looks like here is we could basically take the second skirm, hit it for 3, it survives, it gets the armor, then use the one that we have on the board right now to finish the kill. If all goes well. There you go. So we have dominance here in terms of points, but we also have the 3 points on the board, and the leader I'm not afraid to use. And then they have a problem where they have a lot of coin and they don't have spenders, so they have to pass here. I think they're really leaning into Scoundrel for the round 1, and sure enough, we got rid of that problem. So in this round, we did what we had to do. Okay, we have Simlas in hand, we got some really good bleeding tools in hand. One of the issues is I don't have a lot of proactivity, so we could just very well dump a card and wait for them to play stuff and then start killing it that way. I don't think you ever want to waste an advantage here where we went on even. So I do have the Alyssa play, I do have the Berserker play if we just need to drop cards, which is okay. We'll buy ourselves some time here and take this now. Put those back in the deck before they could squirrel or anything like that. Let's take a sip of the coffee. I got some 0 sugar French vanilla creamer I've added. It's actually pretty wild. So Caleb is one of those cards that it's very good. Obviously, it's a huge threat if you have constant removal. So once they get down their spender, it's going to be a big problem. And so for that reason, I feel like it's necessary to try and get rid of it. But at the same time, where's the spender, right? I could blow leader here, but I'm wasting points.
Slow, ain't ya?
So they go for the straight wipe here. I mean, it makes sense, right? Get rid of that because he's Harmony. You know, Archer looks pretty good here to get rid of Caleb. I'm not too worried about Junior because if they want to go and spend, then let them spend. I don't need these tokens. 3 for 3 is not great either. Yeah. So if I take Ifrit on her, I could do like the leader wipe here, which is actually very good. There you go. I was kind of waiting for an opportunity like that. If you don't remember, we lost one of the Sentinels in round 1 to the Scoundrel poll, but 2's enough. It would be nice to try and save Curse Corruption for that big slam, whether it's Brute or, you know, Hail at 18 points. Either which would be fine. At the same time, though, they do give me a really good waylay spin target if we need something, right? Because they don't have a lot of units out there, so we have to sort of take on a taller one as well. There we go, something to look at. 13? What are they doing? This tells me that you don't have much left in hand and you want to get ahead. When you see a play like this, you just have to keep going, guys. It's unfortunate that they just really want to get the 3 for 2. I think that's what it is. That's like the best potential. But you know, I think that just costed the game. Yeah, that's the biggest curse of corruption I might have ever had. And then Graydon comes down at 3. Yeah. There's no reason to stop now, guys. We go and play Zoltan here. Don't even care about the armor at this point. The waylays will just clean up the board. Depending on what they play, though, we could pass even. Puts them ahead. Honestly, I don't think they have the reach with 1 card, right? Because we have like a 24-point play. Their leaders used the first time. Let's just go for it, yeah. There you go. You love to see it. And moving on to the next game, here we have Frost. A lot of Frost going around in tournament play. I don't see as much of it on the ladder, but usually when people are feeling tournament mode or whatever the case, you know, they're jamming Frost. So we are fortunate to not go first. If I did go first, I would probably just try to play to 7 and pass, really. We can get rid of that. Best part of the Hen Gate is we can actually take that Aparian Phantom back next round on our side of the playing field, get that 1 point per turn engine, of course with the order of 3 damage, which can help chip things down that much better. And we took the Curse of Corruption there just because I feel like if we don't take care of that, the whole round might be decided by that 1 bronze card. It really gets nasty when you add a lot of, you know, just a lot of Frost, a lot of extra Frost. There's a lot of carryover boost plays that they can benefit from with the extra Frost, so. And I decide, let's just keep going, non-interactive here. Makes the world of sense. If they're dropping a Purify and an empty board, it's because they're struggling for things to play, right? At some point, we have to decide to actually play something. You know, we gotta start tempoing ahead so that we can actually win the round uneven. Otherwise, they just pass and they get their card back. And that's what I'm afraid of here. Taking a while to think about it. There we go. So, not a lot for us to play. Berserker feels right. Just play it. Let it just tick on the range row. They finally have their target here, which kind of sucks for me. It's like, I wish I can choose whether or not the Berserkers, like, let go of the armor, because there I would have kept it. Yeah. Frost bronzes are great. I think bruisers are amazing. And we low roll that to the ground for sure. Take the 4 points, I guess.
I'm so tired.
It doesn't get us ahead. Gotta decide, are we gonna use leader and make it happen? I mean, after that sad turn, maybe. Right? I want to kill this card because they can replay it off our riders too. It would heal it, essentially. Getting out the Toad feels decent. Up by 1. Yeah. We just pedal on it with Zoltan here. I think that's fine. Zoltan on his own, without the 1 point per turn engine, is 8 points on the board, and then 6 points of damage. So it's still actually very good. Probably my favorite dwarf card, actually. I think a lot of people are still haunted by old Zoltan, where he ticks, or he starts with the barricade, starts working right away, so they always seem to want to kill him. But really good counter to the Winter Queen here, just coming down with the Ifrit, right? Look at all the frost they have on the road. Like, that would have played for maybe 20 points almost, right? So we were able to just remove that, you know? Little overkill on the 5 damage to a 4 point, but it works itself out. What's nice is Thros depends on a very long round, and we have very good short rounds within the waylay play and that sort of stuff, so I'm trying to drag it down as much as possible. Here's a really good opportunity, though. We just got to pass. We just got to get out of here, because if they go 2 cards down, I think we have a pretty good shot. You could play that however which way you want. I think it's just worth it to take the 2-card advantage here. It prevents them from being able to bleed. It helps give me time to get my stuff together. I know we have Hengate Sword coming back in hand, so I think it just makes it a little bit more favorable. Now, Maxi could be a good dry pass card. That's a bit better. It would be nuts if they decided to push that. So what am I pulling into? We get both. That's what I wanted. That's why we put back Alyssa to begin with, is because we didn't have the Venedane. So good stuff. We pull into both. Simlas we'll get with the Oniro. Everything's good. The hand's almost too good. So we gotta make a sacrifice here. It's probably gonna have to be Chariot and backup plan. It would be tough for me to want to give them Hengate back in the deck. Little proactivity going first here. We'll see. Backup plan for sure. Yeah, I mean, 5 points of removal reach plus the Aparian Phantom Body, plus I think it just does better than Chariot. My only concern here is if they play a little no unit, that would just kill us. Honestly, man, Oberon's a lot of points. Let's take this now. Now, I think it's a use order, because then we can just kill Oberon, and we don't have to worry about them pushing back Phantom and not being able to use the order at all, right? So there we go. We still get the armor pad too. If they put Frost on the front row, Aparian Phantom's going to soak up some of that.
Oh, what is this peasant wine? Fetch the cupbearer.
It's unfortunate we can't get rid of that in one turn, but I think it's a little late in the round to be playing stuff like that. So they're leaning heavy into the Foglet. That's likely going to be the Heatwave target. I don't recall them getting like a crazy amount of frost on both rows to set up a really good Caranthir, so I think that it's going to be Foglet that's like the tall removal here. Yeah, I don't like when they can distribute things like that, because otherwise they would have had to put it on the 8 or the 11, right? If we were to be able to kill that quicker. I think we just go for the wipe down here. I guess it makes sense. We get the point right back anyways. If we kill that, right, it's an 8. We get a 9, but it's probably the move. Less frost damage. Oh yeah, easy. It's all in the fog lid here. There you go. That wasn't too bad. Good. I think we did the right thing in round 1. And we got Nilfgaard coming up here next. Tactical decision. It's going to be something. That's for sure. 2 waylays in hand is what we want to see. I always feel like I shouldn't be playing Maxi on blue coin, but if it's Clog, it's sort of a card you want to have, so I'm a little conflicted here, to be honest. But there's so many leaders now that are using, or decks that are using this leader, like Renfree of any sort, right? When in doubt, take no mulligans, you know? Classic heart of the cards moment right there. I just want to keep as many proactive plays as possible in round 1. We hold on to the Berserker over the backup plan because, you know, we got the Chariot out there for 1, so we can get them both going off. And if we get really good spends like that, you know, just good value plays, we don't have to commit as much. That's, it's kind of like when you wish you had the Muzzle still in the deck. I think the show must go on. We can't really stop it. I don't want to Nero into something and then just do all that, you know what I mean? So, Portal player. Right away, we can pretty much conclude that it's Clog, right? We see the first card come down, indication, but not always. But then the Portal comes down. Now they're doing like a hyper thin. You know, you have to say. And I think a lot of people are going to start gravitating towards the Portal after the Roach nerf. So look out for that a little bit. Infiltrator. So either they have both of them in hand or they just aren't scared of maybe one going on range row. But we'll just wipe that out right here. 3 points of damage. Boom, right? Our deck helps Clog a lot, okay? So, something to be careful with. We're kind of clogging and we're not really playing a lot of cards early. So, what we have to focus on in this matchup is drawing those win conditions or having a way to get them. And in this case, I would say the most important things would be the Simlas Waylay combo, of course, right? Having Simlas, maybe having Peller, but certainly Curse of Corruption or Heatwave. If you have Heatwave, the Peller is fine, but if you don't, COC just does the job, right? 9 provisions can ruin a whole deck, and I'm happy with that. Gotta get rid of that engine. There's an argument to maybe get rid of the other one first, but cards are going in and out of the deck, you know what I mean? So we would have given him free boosts. It's tough. Either way, we have a fairly substantial lead. I just don't want to give them like a free round win in one card. You know, when they come down with Blight Makers and stuff like that, kind of get you thinking. See, it's within reach now. Yeah. Just get some of this stuff out of the way. I'm not feeling too lucky. Maybe take a leader ping off that. So we got technically 4 engines out there. One's not generating
If not by strength, then by
points per
stealth.
se. It's kind of helping the other one. But they only have the 1 engine. Yeah, we're not feeling lucky. There. This is where I would love to tempo pass. And they know it too. Yeah, we do what we had to do when we had to do it, honestly. I can't take chances. Like, giving them round control means that we basically let them decide, you know, if we get our win conditions, right? I need to be in control of those things. So far, the hand's decent. Melissa's actually better. And because I now have a way to get everything, and we got the maxi to fix it up a little bit, I'm feeling kind of good. I just don't know if we can actually push this because they have a lot of points in the leader. Gonna have to go for the pass, take the long round. It could be okay. I don't think they have like a crazy amount of points in a long round. I think that what they're doing is they're trying to build up for that Colgrim play, right? So they go for the thin here. And that's points you could have just taken later, you know? I guess they want that bold contrast, maybe so they could do more clogging in round 3. Because I have everything I need, I don't really think Maxi's the move right now. Squirrel's kinda good. If I remove something, then I can squirrel it just in case they have renew. Yeah, big clog round here. Something to keep in mind is that when you're playing against them, they are looking to get death blows off the coated weapons if they have it, which they normally do. So try not to put down things at 5 power too early to give them those really free turns, okay? Or try to make it so that when they do use coated weapons to clog, they're having to do it on, for example, Alyssa, who still has bleeding, so we can maximize the points that we have on the board.
Magic dies. This world dies with it.
Or just take a 2 power card, because they still trade down on that. I have like 20 cards in my deck. Look at this. There.
It'll strain your throat. Help is not on the way.
I feel like a lot of what they played here is probably something they would have wanted to play maybe in round 1. But they did have a lot of engines going around 1 too, right? Think about it. If they were to get down maybe like the portal and that, and then try to play this package, it would have been nice. Maybe they didn't have all the cards then.
Dead nobles.
They did have leader though. I'm in a tricky spot where I want to kill everything, but there's not a lot to kill. Hence the squirrel early. Just no 5 powers out there for the Ifrit. I feel like we should really keep track of the points, and for what it's worth, I don't know if I'm supposed to take waylays off the 7, just because it's kind of expensive, you know? I think we'll just hit a 4. COC's him last win, right? And then we have leader that we can clean up some of those, like the 2s and stuff on the front. Get rid of that. Yeah. You thought. No, it's not going to work around here, man. The whole game, 15 minutes or whatever, goes into like just one 9 provision card cleaning it up. That's why I don't play Clog. Honestly, it's infuriating to play that archetype. I tried it a couple times. It's only fun when it works, and it works maybe 1 out of every like 8 games, okay? Yeah. You see? Even with the leader slam down, it comes in at a tie, does it not? Then we just play Sim last, even off the armor, doesn't even matter. Yeah. GG. And remember, we did have Maxi, so if I didn't pull nicely, we could have fixed things up a little bit, right? But we didn't even need to use it. There you go. And moving on to the last game of the day, we have another bounty. And I feel like you guys are going to be playing against a lot of bounty. The games that I'm playing right now are just in order. Like, they're not just cookie cut from a pile of games. So, in 4 games, 2 of which were actually bounty, and I feel like that's fair, you know? Yeah, so Venedane coming down, we don't have the waylays in hand, but we can just go and put back a Sentinel at least. It's either backup plan, Maxi, or Berserk. You know my rule, when I have Maxi in hand, round 1, we go first. I don't like using her, especially when we have Cursed Scroll. We could just fix things, you know? And I have Oniro, and I have Simlas, like, you know. How much consistency do you need at that point, right? I like that she's only 5p. How many of you guys finished the Shoop event? Let me know. Just finished it up myself. Big leader coming down on Venedane right there, okay? It's going to be one of those games. That's a problem, okay? If they keep playing non-interactive, it's going to be a very tough round because they can generate points pretty effectively themselves. And I wasn't expecting poison, not going to lie. So I would have played that on range row otherwise, but life goes on. What do we do? Ifrit cleans it up. Ifrit ping. It prevents us from getting a 7 poisoned out. Justified? I think I just recently got him in premium. Even more inspiring to use him. You see, such an underplayed card, they have to see what he does. Shady Vendor. Now, that's not something you always see in this deck, but I can imagine that there's actually a lot of 5p cards that can help them with this. And then, of course, if they're rolling a 4p on melee, then they can get like a fist tech or whatever the case, you know? It's a lot of coins, man. There's no advantage of playing melee, ranged, or anything like that in a matchup like this, so don't think too much about it. I would say like 10 out of 10 bounty players are not running like a brawl, tavern brawl. It's not needed, so you don't have to worry about like adjacency. Watch someone throws it in their deck now, but have to say, it was a fairly easy round 1. However, it came at the expense of a 10p gold, which I don't love, you know what I mean? And that's the first chariot out of the way. But I guess we settle. They did use leader. It's a whack hand. So yeah, sometimes you don't need to spend the waylay from hand. You could literally just do that with a Curse of Corruption off the Alyssa or a Heat Wave off Alyssa. So in this event, it's an example of that. We could just sort of slowly shuffle them back in deck, you know? It'd be nice to try and get out of Hengate in this round, but it's really hard to say. Are we going to be pushing a lot or nah? We can give the impression that we're pushing and see if we can get something out of the way. Candle. Makes it that much more difficult to bleed. You know what? Because I can Alyssa back the Heat Wave, we could take it. You know what I mean? And we have Curse Corruption. I don't think we're hurting too much. And we're at 7, so if they tempo hard here, I could still pass. But having that candle is going to make everything we're trying to remove that much more difficult in late game, right? Still trying to gauge what type of bounty they are. They're not really playing expensive cards. Okay. So we played against like actual bounty with tons of high provision cards. Now we're playing against Golden Ecker bounty. There was an option to purify that there, but the purify doesn't really put out as many points. It still gives them reach, so I figure if we just remove it all together, it's favorable, you know? Azar coming down here. Okay. That might be the only chance I have to get out. Plus, we have a brick in the hand as well. We don't want to play too much into it. And Peller's not like a huge point slam, you know? At least with the Fender out of the way, we could just kill whatever they play next round. They put down one spender on a pass, trying to get a little bit of carryover. That might hurt them too, because now... what's left? I know a lot of times they have the poison package, like the full poison package. We saw in round 1 they had one of the failed experiments, so they could have like the Roland and Gellert, you know? Come on, no bricks. There you go. Skilled. Yeah, Hengate's missing at the end of round 3. Kind of feels bad, but can't always have it. It's a nice tool, but it's not a win condition, I find. Plays so well, though, into like a Crow Mother or any sort of like Reavers matchups. Awesome for Hengate. Maddock.
Know that I was trained by Clara.
Yeah, Heatwave is always preferred over the Curse of Corruption. Unless we know the Defender's an option, right? Because then it gets a little tricky. Even then we have Peller, but they already played Defender last round. So, yeah. And how long do I want to let this go on for, right? It's out of Skirmisher reach. And their front has immunity, so we have to wait for that to purify. If I don't get rid of the back, though, it's going to be very expensive. You know? It's like literally an extra 2 to 4, potentially even 6 points per turn. This is helpful.
Look what the werecat dragged in.
So we kill that off here and then... oh, my bad. was kind of an L. Yeah, listen. Just kill the damn thing, okay? We had the 2 leader pings. We had the 2 leader pings.
Salutations from Azar Jarlet.
I guess it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Look, now we can use offering and get the best offering value. Yeah. Whoops. Can't play that. Can't play that. There you go. There we go. It's fine. All that for a couple points. Honestly, I don't even think it was worth it, because they got the poison, they got the 2. It's so. Now, are they going to float it or use it? I think they want to float it because they already have 8 coins. They spend 4, they get back 6. They overprofit a little bit, right? You can't be doing that against me, man. Listen, I had one play that was a little bit slow, trying to get the max value out of things. I think that they reciprocated that. They're like, okay, look, you know, we got to make it stretch. So that's why they held, but damn, bro. Because it's not the poison that was the big deal. That's inevitable. It's the actual bounty that made the big difference there. Caleb coming out here. There you go. They're just going to try and do it over again. This time, no chances. You see? A lot of people are playing the bounty poison combo. Personally, I like to just do all poison. I think poison's one of the coolest things. I go all poison or all bounty usually, because I think if you lean into one all the way, it's just fine. Jeez. Okay, so Caleb and Freak Show, both these cards together can wreak havoc on the board and give them a lot of leader carryover, right? It's just constant flow. So it's, yeah, it's got to be Simlast. Here we go. We take just 2 and then the 1. We trade down a little bit, but I think it's for the best. And I don't really have great targets for Zoltan. We have the failed experiment, but we should be good. Big tall punish coming out. Oh yeah, they still have Golden Necker. So they poison a 4. And they get a little consistency here. There's no artifact because they bricked that, right? Candle came out in round 2. And then they played one from hand round 3. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, you could argue maybe Zoltan first because we had the 2 6s. I don't know. Kind of get excited. No, we just win. We don't need a tall punish. We don't need Zoltan.